What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome in. I'm calling this trade as soon as we get on the stream today. Let's go. GBP USD. We're going short. I got a live order set. Sell limit. You can see on the screen right here. This is what we're looking at. So we've got our little breaker block right here. We've got a beautiful fair value gap inside of it. We have run all of the buy side liquidity. We've taken out yesterday's high. We're reversing back through and taking out London's lows, and Asian lows will be next. So we've got this order set up here on GBP USD as soon as we pop on the stream today. I've got my entry at 27735. My stop is up above this swing level, and then I'm going for a 1 to 2.1. So I'm going to copy this out real quick and throw it up on the tweets. I don't even know if it's called Twitter anymore. Is it still called Twitter? I'm not even sure if it is, because it's called reposting now, not retweeting. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. 1.27735. Stop loss is 1.27919, and our TB is 1.27349. There we go. It's all set up and ready to rock. Now, I mean, it's kind of nice we don't have to sit around and wait all morning, other than if we just, if it runs away and doesn't give us an entry, that sucks. But could be a Tuesday high of the week in place there overnight. We did have, let's get back over here on the charts real quick. So London came down, didn't quite grab much sell side, ran up, and then it started displacing lower here. So I'm still bearish. I still think that we're going lower here. I'm still bullish on the dollar. Euro has a similar setup here. It's not quite as clean. I could see Euro maybe coming back up above this high into this breaker. Someone over on Discord grabbed this. I think it was H. Grabbed this breaker, and this was the beautiful setup on Euro dollar. Just a great, nice entry here. Quick stab down. We ran into liquidity, displaced lower. This breaker right here is just beautiful. I mean, it comes right back up into these fair value gaps and then tanks. And I think there's actually, this fair value gap here. And then on the 5-minute, sniper entry right here. Just a great setup. But GBP is looking really nice too. Super clean. We have a ton of trend line here to clear out for retail to want to keep trying to go long here. So if we can get just a little bit of a pullback back up into this 15-minute order block inside this fair value gap, inside this breaker, I think we're going to be looking pretty good here, actually. I like this setup. It all works, fits all of the criteria. So we get our run on liquidity. We're getting displacement back below where the run on liquidity began. It began back down here. Now that we've broken through that, we're just looking for a little pullback just to rebalance and provide some efficient price delivery to these sell side inefficient areas here. Keep our stop in a safe place above the last highest fair value gap and above this order block and above the breaker. Still gives us plenty of room for sell side liquidity to be tapped into down here before we can get into our TP. Wow, that was fun. Welcome to the 10K to $2 million funding challenge, live Tuesday, August 22nd, 7 a.m. We're sponsored by Bespoke Funding Program, and we're here to help you learn how to pass challenges and stack accounts. So use that discount code Venator when you check out with Bespoke. You get 80. Wouldn't it be awesome? 85% off. It's not 85% off. It's 15% off and an 85% profit split. I hope you guys are taking advantage of that. If you're not using that discount code and you want to use the one that Bespoke has, whatever promotion they're currently running, you can use the affiliate link that I have on my YouTube description, and it'll still get credited to Venator, and it definitely helps the stream out, and keeps our partnership moving in the right direction. So this actually will be the end of the first month. Thursday will be our 1 month anniversary of the sponsorship with Bespoke. So we'll sit down with them this weekend and kind of review how that went, and hopefully we can continue on in a pretty good partnership. So, but we're back on the charts. We're going to be trying to take down a Trophy Buck A+ setup today. We might have one in our scopes. Good morning, John. Good morning, Kenneth. Everyone like that stream. Hit that like button. I agree. What's up, Cisco? 4 likes already. Oh, man. What's up, Beeswax? For anyone not in Discord, possible setup forming on GU. Yep. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat here. 10 watching, 7 likes. Hope Venator has his coffee. Could be an exciting stream right from the beginning. I do have my coffee, and it was exciting right from the beginning. Loyalty Family says gold is a nice sell zone target Asian low. Well, that's too bad that the Gilded Gal isn't on our watch list right now, but I'll trust you on that one. John, man, why are you so grumpy in the morning, man? Not going to tell me what kind of morning to have. We're going to have a great morning. We're going to have a great morning. I know we are. Ben A. You should go max leverage on that. Let's not do that. Good morning, Michael Dahl, Mr. Alfie, Red Ezekiel. What's up, Chase? LOL, what's up? What's going on, man? Alpha Bridge. There was a setup on EO, but I haven't entered because it wasn't inside the kill zone. Somebody killed that. I think it was H over on Discord. Yeah, EU short was very nice, but I'm watching cautiously if we get a long setup for New York now. I mean, maybe if the dollar wants to continue lower on DXY, if it wants to continue lower, maybe they bring it down into this order block, back into this daily fair value gap to see if it becomes an inverted fair value gap. I'm still bullish on the dollar on these higher time frames. So I still think we're going to be heading up for liquidity, this imbalance, and then, of course, these highs up here. So if we take out last week's high and this swing high, I mean, my eye just goes up to this level here. So still bullish on the dollar. I kind of feel like this was the low of the week today, but I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not gonna, lose any sleep over it. I've been wrong before. I'm gonna be wrong again. It's not an issue to me if I'm wrong. I don't care. I know I'm gonna be wrong. It's just part of the business. Your analysis is never gonna be 100% correct. So you just take the setups when you see them, man. If it lines up with your analysis and you see a setup form that fits and checks off all your rules, you take the trade. Otherwise, you sit on your hands and you do nothing. It's not Brad Handouts. I'm going to change my handle to Brad Handouts. I mean, that was probably the best part of the whole message that guy said. Something like, have a nice life, Brad Handouts. So good. David Dreams, welcome in, buddy. After that workout, it's not as bad as I thought. And it's always the second day that you probably feel the worst, in my opinion. So I am a little sore this morning. But it wasn't as bad as it was. Now, it was brutal hot and the humidity and outside. I'm no fan of that. I want to work out on the air conditioning, man. This old body does not need the extra punishment from the heat and humidity on top of a grueling workout. But the workout was fine. And I am definitely sore. Some parts of my legs are definitely sore. and I will probably have some trouble getting up and down the stairs later today and tomorrow for sure. But it wasn't horrible. And now I've told the guy, you know, hey, man, that was cool. It's just not for me. And now I can get off my back and I won't have to go do that again. GU is melting. Maybe we don't even get a retest. Ben, you know, that has been kind of the story of July and August where we get breakaways and then price just runs off and it could melt. But price doesn't just run in one direction. We're going to get a leg here, and whether it takes out liquidity here or wherever it is, it's going to come back up. It may not come back up to our entry. We may get swerved. That is a potential and a very real possibility that we accept. But either way, it's fine. Even if this triggers in and just smashes our loss, I don't really care. This setup is exactly the setup that I look for. I want to see a run on liquidity. I want to see displacement away and the retrace. That's exactly what we're looking for right here. Yes, if price takes out sell side liquidity targets, I will cancel the trade. And for me, that's going to be down here. I don't care if it runs this small little retail trend line. That's not the one I'm looking at. I'm looking more at these trend lines here. This is what retail is really looking at, and it's just smashed through that. So these lows down here are the ones that if it runs those before giving us an entry, I would cancel. If it runs this, it's fine. In fact, after it runs this, you can anticipate a pullback up into this order block here and this breaker and these fair value gaps. So if it runs this, you would anticipate a pullback, and then you continue to target these lows. And then ultimately, if you just pop up here into the 1 hour, you can see we're at the top of the range. I like to take trades away from the top of ranges back to the middle. So that's why I'm targeting these lows down here, not these lows here. So I think we're going to head down into this level. And this was just a run on liquidity up here above all these old highs at the top of this range here. So that's the play, man. That's the play. You can see it on a 1 hour. Nice little breaker on the 1 hour here as well. So you've got these down close candles. We ran liquidity. We're getting displacement away. We're inside. It's leaving behind a little fair value gap even on the 1 hour. So hopefully we can get back up here into this 1 hour order block right here inside this breaker and fair value gap. Bam. Done. Let's go. That's the play today. And I'm glad I don't have to sit around for 2 hours and wait for a setup to form. Yeah, so we can just call the stream right here. All right, guys. Y'all have a great day. No, I'm kidding. We'll stick around for a little while. Do you think that's a good breaker you put a limit on? Do I think that's a good breaker? I don't understand your question. On GU, do I think this is a good breaker? I do. Otherwise, I would not have set the limit order. But I'm not sure if I understand your question. Sore muscles mean you did good work. I agree. No pain, no gain, man. You gotta break down muscle to build muscle. To build new muscle, you've got to break down the old muscle. That's just the way the body works, and that means you have to introduce pain. You have to introduce pain, and to get to where you want to go, you got to go through the pain. So much like trading, isn't it? It's just crazy. Red Ezekiel just got back to break even from a 5% drawdown from the last 2 weeks. Good job, Red. That's awesome. Way to go. What's your typical win rate like trading ICT? Well, this specific strategy, we're over the last 100 trades, we're at a 53% win rate after the last few losses we've taken. So we're above a 50%. Typically, I'm around 55 to 60% win rate with this strategy. This breaker strategy is between 55 and 60% win rate. But I just say 50% in general. So, and that's, again, that's over 100 trades in a live market. And that's the number that you need to be most concerned about is what are my statistics in a live market, not back testing, live market. What are my statistics in a live market? If you don't know that, then you should only be risking about half percent, max 1% until you know that data. So, but my data says I have a max losing streak of 4 trades in a row, which we have not hit. We got close. We were down to 3, then we won 1, and then we lost another one. So we're on a 1-loss streak currently. A 1-loss streak is what our current losing streak is 1. So that's about it. I do target I target a fixed 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. And if you go look on my YouTube page, there's a strategy video. The strategy that we're using here, I break it down step by step, rule by rule, and show you exactly how we find these setups and all the parameters that I use to define them. So can you have a look at pound CAD? Didn't go for a bearish entry this morning as thought. Higher time frame was bullish, but it would have been sweet. Your thoughts would help me decide in the future. My win rate does not include break evens. I leave them up here on the stream just so people know we are taking trades. Not all of them are wins or losses. They will, some of them will be break evens, but I don't account for them in my overall statistics. It's just the win losses that I count. Let's look at pound CAD from Mr. Alfie. Pound CAD. Let's see. So we definitely have been well, I mean slight uptrend. I wouldn't say massively strong uptrend, but it has been in an uptrend. It's fine. He experiences some chop and then breakout. We're still inside this dealing range right here. So this dealing range is where we're at, the high to this low. We haven't taken out this swing leg, the higher the low of it. So technically you're moving sideways until you get out of that dealing range. You haven't had displacement above, you haven't had displacement on the low. It is more trending to the upside than it is the downside. So I can understand why your higher time frame analysis is bullish. I'm not a fan of taking counter trend trades. So hourly time frame, we've run liquidity, we're pulling back through. This would have been your higher time frame bullish setup there. Excuse me, y'all. Oh. This is probably what you were looking at here, Mr. Alfie. You had this run down, you ran by side, you displaced through, came back up. I mean, it's a nice looking, it is a breaker setup for sure. It is to the downside, which is counter trend to the higher time frames. So you just have to decide whether taking counter trend trades on higher time frame, against a higher time frame bias is within your trading risk parameters. If it is, it's a good setup. If it's not, then you just go, oh, cool, look at that really nice breaker. It's not in my direction, so I'm not going to take it. But wow, it's very pretty and they work. So it just should help build confidence in your system of understanding exactly how this setup works. And when they appear in the live market, gives you confidence to be able to execute another sniper entry off of a fair value gap breaker, 50% of that breaker. I mean, it's just beautiful sniper entry right there. So, man, that's just, it doesn't get much prettier than that. It really doesn't. 50% of the breaker, sniper entry, fair value gap, 1 to 2. It didn't take out sell side first, so it's all valid. So it is a beautiful setup. It is, I agree with you, counter trend to the higher time frames. So you just have to decide, am I going to take counter trend trades? Am I going to take counter trend trades? If that's part of your trading system, then take them. But you need to have the data to understand how often and how likely it is that these counter trend trades are going to work out for you. My data, I don't like them. So they have a less than 50% chance win rate for me. And so I just try to avoid them. It keeps me out of extra losses. I'm not opposed to anybody being a counter trend trader. Again, if it fits your risk appetite and it fits your trading plan, then you should take those setups every time you see them. So here's what we're looking for our pound trade to work. We're going to need the dollar to pull back into this breaker here on the DXY. For our pound trade to get triggered, this is what we're going to need. You've got this breaker block. Here's your fair value gap inside. So this is the setup we need from dollar right now. We need the dollar to pull back, give us some weakness here into this area, and that should help our pound trade to get filled, and then we can keep running off. Emmanuel says, what will be your approach to prop if you have a 50% win rate, 1 to 2 RR fixed, and average between 4 to 7 trades a month? What will be my approach? The same thing I'm doing right here. I don't change my approach on anything. Funded account, challenge. I don't change any approach. I trade the way you see me trade right here is exactly the way I trade on my live funded account. This is my live funded account. I have another account that I don't teach the strategy that I use there and show all the trades. I'm keeping this stream specifically to the 10K to $2 million funding challenge. So I don't really change nothing changes. I'm the trader I am, and I use the system I do, and doesn't matter what account I'm trading. I just trade. Nothing changes. Red, when you're still learning and not streaming, what other routine do you do after analyzing your charts that you can recommend to us? Do you study, read, backtest? What other routine? I don't backtest really very much anymore, unless I'm just trying to build out a new strategy. If I'm trying to understand someone else's strategy that they might need help with, I don't really backtest anymore. Other than that, nothing really changes. I don't at this point, it's not that I'm not always learning. The market's always teaching me something. Don't get me wrong. The market is always teaching me something. I learn something every time I come to the markets. And so my education is sitting here watching candles print live, taking live executions. That is the greatest education that you can get as a trader. You need to understand that it's not more education that you need when you're not on the charts. The only thing that you need to be working on when you're not on the charts is your self-discipline, your emotional maturity, your personal growth. When you're not on the charts, that's what you should be focused on. How can I instill more self-discipline into my life in other areas of my life? Because that's going to translate over to when you sit down at the markets to be able to maintain a high level of self-discipline and emotional control when you feel the pain that your subconscious mind is trying so desperately to convince you to get rid of. So that's what I do when I'm not on the markets, is I just focus on my personal growth. I make sure that I'm a man of integrity. I'm a man of my word. I do what I say I'm going to do. If I promise somebody I'm going to do something, I'm going to follow through and do it. If I promise myself I'm going to do something, I'm going to follow through and do it. Has nothing to do with trading. It just has everything to do with continuing to develop myself into the best version of myself that I can be. I owe it to myself to do that. I owe it to my wife to do that. I owe it to my kids to do that. I owe it to my grandkids, future grandkids, to do that, to be the best version of myself that I can be. And so that means whether I'm on the charts or not, I'm going to follow through and I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. And that's what I work on, because I know if I can do that in other areas of my life, I'm going to be able to do it here too. And that's just kind of the vibe that I roll with. There are some good books out there to help with trading psychology. Best Loser Wins is kind of the one I like the most right now. There's some stuff in there it's not all trading psychology. He does get into some of the way he trades, which is not the way I trade. But if you just cut that out and you just kind of blow past it, all of the stuff that he says about just dealing with pain, dealing with taking losses, understanding your psychology and your emotional responses to situations. It's a fantastic book. That's not the only one. There's other great books out there. Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas is another one that is super helpful. So I don't spend a lot of time on the charts when I'm not trading. My chart time is live execution, because that's where you are going to learn the absolute, it's the best teacher in the world. It's the best teacher in the world. When you're demo trading, when you're back testing, when there's no skin in the game, you can have a 70, 80% win rate. When you get into the live market, that's where you actually learn who you are as a trader, and you learn where your weaknesses are and what you've got to work on. So I'm 100% in favor of all of your education comes from sitting down and putting into practice the things that you've learned offline. So that's all. Everything you learn offline is theoretical. Everything that you learn online while you're actually live trading, that's real world, that's real life, that's truth. And that's what you need to be focused on. So collect that data, get those statistics, understand your numbers from a live market trading. And then once you have that, it's so much easier to understand and define what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, and then you can work off of that on building some kind of plan to eliminate the losses, or at least cut them down. You're not going to eliminate them, but you can reduce them and lean into your strengths and your risk appetite a lot stronger. So it's a long-winded answer, but Ken says, tips for staying focused. I tend to lose focus easily, especially when back testing. Looking into FX Replay to help my back testing. Have you tested? I have tested FX Replay. I do have an account with them. I was working on a strategy. I have not gone back to it yet. I still think I might do a video on a back testing, like using how to back test and how to build out a strategy back testing. Might be a good video. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But how do I stay focused? I don't know. I mean, you've sat here and watched me, Ken, for weeks at a time now. I don't know. I just do what I do. I just sit here and I wait for my A+ setups, and I'm perfectly content if they don't show up to not do anything. I keep the long-term perspective in my mind. I understand that the end goal is more important than any momentary affliction that I might be feeling internally. There is a there is a future glory that awaits that is so much better than the momentary affliction that we experience here on the charts. Let's see if anyone else gets that illusion. Michael, would be sweet if we get a pullback now and leave a no wick candle in the direction of TP. That would be pretty nice, man. Pretty nice. So that 15-minute candle opened. This 15-minute candle that opened right there has no wick. That's what he's referring to. Right here, this candle has no wick. You can see if I hover over this candle when I do it, watch these numbers up here. This candle, the open 27567, the low exactly 27567, and we've just pushed up, which means it left no wick behind, and we know the market does not like to leave no wicks behind. So that's a nice little easy first target after you get if we can get triggered in here. If we can get triggered in here, that would be a nice little area. I wouldn't move to break even and probably till we took this low out here. That would be my probably break even target. If we can get triggered in, I'm getting way ahead of myself. But if we can get triggered in, you're looking at 1.5. Oh, which is, yeah, I mean, that's right in line with, it doesn't have, 1.5 is just a area where I want to go to break even. I use market structure with this 1.5 as my break even target. So before I even pulled this up, I just identified that's about, I can eyeball it. That's where I would want to move to break even. If we could take out that low, I would move to break even if we can get triggered in. We may not get triggered in. We may not. We don't have any high impact news today. Tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, we have red folder news, Fed pals speaking. We have unemployment claims coming out. We've got some flash manufacturing, PMI. All of that will move us in one direction or another. So, Kenneth, 40 hertz binaural beats might help you with focus. Now, I haven't tried that, and I've heard several other people say that that does help. My personal experience is that sometimes I will put headphones on and use white noise, and it really does help me lock in and stay focused when I have some white noise going on to distract me. I've never used it while trading, just in other things, like on my other job and stuff. If I'm working on something, I'll just put some headphones in with white noise and just lock in. And it really does help remove distractions and stay focused on what you need to do. Not a bad option, Michael Dahl. BFP just got a new broker. Yes, Think Markets. Think Markets is a great regulated broker, and they are now a second broker option for bespoke funding. In fact, if you do MT5, they will only offer Think Markets. And so for me, I only use MT5. So my current accounts are all with ACAP, but all future accounts would be with Think Markets for bespoke. So I don't have any experience with Think Markets. I know that they're pretty well respected as a regulated broker in the Forex industry. So I don't have a comment on it other than Bespoke is a great firm, and they have just partnered with a well-respected actual regulated broker to partner with as a second option for traders to continue to improve their trading conditions. So way to go Bespoke. I love it. Raja, bro, how you overcome the psychology part? I got pissed off enough at myself for continuing to act like a baby. I mean, that's the most general way I can say it, is I just got upset I finally reached a point where I was like, I'm done. I'm done doing this. I'm tired of letting of being an emotionally immature person. Because that's ultimately what this comes down to, is that I was an emotionally immature person. When you let emotions dictate your responses, you're basically giving the remote control of your life and handing it over to the little 5-year-old brat inside of you and saying, here, you push the buttons. You know what's better. And I just got sick and tired of doing that. And I got to a place where I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let that little kid take control anymore. And I'm going to be an adult. I'm going to act like a man. I'm going to be a man. And I'm going to, when I feel those emotions, I'm going to step outside of myself and have the I guess foresight just to understand, oh, I'm feeling something, and then immediately step back and start analyzing and talking out loud to myself. Why do you feel that? Where's that pain coming from? Is that fear? Is that anger? Is that greed? Why do you feel that? Okay, so what's the truth in this situation, Brad? What's the truth? Oh, the truth is that you're not in pain. The truth is that doesn't fit your setup. The truth is you're trying, your subconscious is setting off these false alarms because it doesn't understand the situation. You do. So make the right decision. But that's really where the psychology part came into it. Was I was just like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going back. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of failing. And I'm not going to be that person anymore. If I fail from this point forward, it's going to be because the market just did not give me the thing. The setup didn't work. The strategy failed. Not because I was making an emotional decision. That's not going to be the reason I lose anymore. If I lose from here on out, it's going to be because the strategy just completely stops working. That's going to be the reason I fail. And that was my determination. It's not going to be because I am a baby. It's not going to be because I'm immature. It's going to be because the system has stopped working. All right. So I would anticipate we put in a swing leg here. If we can get a pullback, this entry is right at the premium discount level here. So it would be nice, hopefully, if we could get a nice little pullback up into that premium discount level there. Even into an OTE is still perfectly fine, even if we go into a little bit of drawdown. But here's our current leg that we're working with. And if it just runs away from here, again, if it hits this TP, I'm fine with it still staying active. I would be less inclined to take it. This is the level that I would prefer not to see it run before it gives us a pullback. I would prefer to see it leave these fair value gaps in place before we tap into those. I would prefer it come up and give us an entry here. So I don't know that we're going to get it, but it is a beautiful looking setup. I really do like it. Just need this dollar to pull back here. Show a little bit of weakness as we move into the 9 o'clock hours here. Just need a little bit of weakness. UJ is the chat pair for the week. We're getting some we've been very bullish. We talked about this already. We're in a bullish uptrend. We didn't quite come back down to this daily breaker right here. We ran liquidity. We've displaced through it. There's your daily breaker. Nice fair value gap. We didn't come back down to it. We did come back down into this daily inverted fair value gap and price pushed higher. We have failed to take out last week's high. We did take out, the high yesterday, 396. So we didn't take out yesterday's high. So there are relative equal highs sitting up here. So that was Monday's high. That's Monday's high. We didn't take this high out yet. So nice relative equal highs up there to potentially target. Nice, beautiful draw on liquidity. We've tapped into this fair value gap. I mean, not a bad looking breaker here on UJ. As far as right here, running sell side liquidity and displacing through. Potentially, you have this setup here on UJ as well. Oops, sorry about that. Breaker block, and then you have this gorgeous fair value gap halfway down inside there. And you could get to 1 to 2 before it takes out the first level of liquidity, but there's your drawn liquidity up here. So that's another potential setup here on UJ. Change of structure, ran sell side liquidity, took out an old low, displaced higher, in line with the higher time frame bias. If it just continues to run, then we would watch this as your next breaker opportunity. These two up close candles ran liquidity. If you get displacement up and it leaves that in place, you could get a pullback and then run that liquidity. So that's another option there as well. But we're just watching GU. Trade is in. We're wondering if we can get triggered in here before we can get another leg down. I'm hoping that EU and GU has printed the high of the week and both will go down. Agreed, Muhammad. That's kind of my bias. Shadow Trades, good evening, friends. Late today. Welcome in, Shadow Trades. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're having a good evening over there. Work Smart Not Hard says there is a lot of negative sentiment with ACAP on Twitter. Do you know why that is? I think that there are some firms that use ACAP, prop firms that use ACAP, and each firm has negotiated the spreads and commissions. And some firms, for some reason, have added extra slippage on their back end to the ACAP broker. And I have experienced some of that, like on the funded trader. They use ACAP, and Bespoke Funding also uses ACAP. I can take the same trade on the funded trader that I take on Bespoke, and I will get slippage on the funded traders servers, and I won't get slippage on Bespokes. I'll get the fill that I wanted. So I think it has more to do, quite honestly, with not ACAP. I think it has more to do with the prop firm and what they've negotiated for their fills and their spreads and their commissions. But I do know that ACAP is not, there's a lot of people that don't like ACAP. The only issue I've ever had with ACAP and the funded trader actually fixed fixed the trade was when there have been server outages where you'll be in the middle of a trade, or you'll be, whatever. Yeah, you'll be in a trade and the server goes out and you can't close it. You can't close anything. And so you don't know if your stop loss is being respected. You don't know if your take profit's being respected. You have no idea. And then once they get it back up, if you took a loss or even if you took a win, they do go in and reset based on before that trade or whatever it was. They'll take care of that trade for you because there was a server outage. So that's only happened once or twice, and that was over a year ago since that's happened to me. And that was with the funded trader. But they did rectify it. They reconciled that whole trade and basically put it back as though it didn't happen. And so that was cool. But besides that, especially with Bespoke, I've had no issue with ACAP. Absolutely zero issue with ACAP. It's worked great. I get great fills, fast execution. That's what you want. You want the fastest execution you can get at the order levels that you were trying to hit. that's what you're looking for. Ben says, do you take the same trades on all your funded accounts? Well, yes and no. On all of the accounts that you see here, these are all taking the same trade. So they're all copy traded. I'm trading live on the funded account, and the trades are copied over to the phase 2 10K and the phase 1 100K. The funded trader accounts I use a higher time frame order block strategy. I will use the breaker block strategy on it occasionally, but mostly it's just a higher time frame order block strategy. It's not great for streaming. There's not a whole lot to talk about or see there. It's really kind of more something that I can start posting in Discord, those higher time frame setups and higher time frame biases to capture the moves I'm looking for. So it's not swing trading, because I typically don't, even on that strategy, I don't hold trades more than a day. Typically it's just a day, but very often I'll set up limit orders before I'll go to bed with an anticipation that they will get filled during the London session. And by the time I wake up in New York, I'm in profit and I can manage the trade from there. So that's kind of how that strategy works. But I can start posting those setups in the Discord channel, and people can, learn from those as well, of how I trade that other amount. Michael says, I wonder if Think Market Broker is same trading conditions as ACAP with Bespoke. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I don't know if they even have that on. I wonder if they have sometimes they'll give you login credentials to see the spreads. But I don't know. I need to tweet that out and see if, maybe we can tag. Let me see if Bespoke Bespoke may have. I may just tweet them. At Bespoke. I just tagged him in a tweet asking if they had login credentials to see spreads and what the commissions would be. We've reached back up into the breaker block here, and just about to tap into not quite. I need to get that box. It's not perfectly leveled there. We haven't quite tapped into that fair value gap. We did tap into the first fair value gap here. This is the one that I want to see it reach into, and I'd like to see it come back up into this order block. The reason I have my entry here, it aligns with the fair value gap, it aligns with the order block and the breaker. That's where I want to see that entry at. I think that will give us the minimal amount of drawdown there, if we can get triggered in. Got about 10 more minutes for this hourly candle to close. It's going to leave behind a teeny tiny fair value gap right there on this hourly, it looks like. So we'll see. We'll see. I'd like to see this hourly order block get tapped into. So again, this hourly order block right here. And I use the most sensitive part of an order block is the wick to the body. So typically, if you're going to get the best order blocks have the best reactions somewhere inside the wick to the body. You could just get in at the wick, put your stop above the body of the candle. You could target 50% of the wick. That's what I like to do a lot of times. Depending on how small the wick is, I may just use the body as an entry target. But when you have an order block that lines up with a breaker and a fair value gap, they are extremely powerful setups. They're not 100%. There is no 100% strategy. And that's what you got to get comfortable understanding, that there is not a 100% win rate strategy. It does not exist. Ooh. Let's see. What do we got? They're usually pretty quick about responding to the tweets. Oh man, we did come up. I would hate to see this thing trip away here off just that breaker touch. I would hate to see that. But sometimes that happens where it comes right back up on these aggressive breakouts. Sometimes it'll just come back up and just touch the breaker. It won't dig deep into it. I prefer the digger deep, especially when there's a fair value gap like this sitting inside, especially when there's an order block sitting there. I do like that after we've had this big hourly close candle, we did not get an aggressive bullish candle pullback here. I like that we had a strong down close and then we did not get an immediate aggressive reaction. It just stalled out and it's leaving behind this fair value gap right here to tap into deeper. So hopefully at this 8 o'clock hour candle, get a little pullback up in here into this order block, and we can get another leg down and participate on the market maker sell model here. So you have the right side of the curve, you get the left side of the curve coming down, you target these lows. It's exactly what we're looking for. The second leg of the distribution. How many likes? Up to 20 likes. 13 of you do not like the stream today, and I apologize for that. I don't know what to do to make it better. Please hit that like button. Oh, did that leave a wick behind? Oh man, like there's two candles with no wicks, basically. The low of this candle, 27650, is where it opened. It dropped a pipette, not even a pipette, 27649. So basically a no wick candle there, plus you have the no wick candle there. All we need is one little pop up to get triggered in, hopefully at the top of the hour, and then we can see these no wicks get swept with some energy and displacement, get to break even. And then we can just be done for the day. Is the World Cup still going on? Or is that thing over? Did somebody win that? The Women's World Cup? I haven't heard anything about it. It's preseason football here in America, which I have not been keeping up with. Like I know it's happening, but I don't really know. I haven't watched any preseason games. I've been watching all the Astros stuff. We're coming down to the end of the year for the Astros and for Major League Baseball. The playoffs are just around the corner, and so I've been watching baseball nonstop. But Spain won. All right, against England in the final. Spain beat England. Okay, cool. Was that anticipated? Were they like two? Was it a good match? Were either of them supposed to be there? Were they like contenders? I feel like England should have had a good squad just because they play soccer so much. I have no idea about Spain. NBA all day, any day. I stopped watching. So I used to watch a ton of NBA basketball. When James Harden was here with the Rockets, after he left, it just got trashed. I mean, they intentionally just lost as many games as they could to try to rebuild the team. And so for the last 4 years, it's just been absolute trash. Absolute trash for basketball in Houston. So I'm also not a fan of the team. There's no loyalty anymore. And so superstar players, basketball is all about you have to have a superstar on your team. It's not about having the best team anymore. It's about having the best player. And those superstars have zero loyalty. And they can force a trade. They can force ownership to get rid of them if they get unhappy about anything. So it's kind of to me, it's kind of a sad situation for the NBA right now. They need to figure out some way to put a better product out on the field. On the court, not the field. A close match, two best teams, but Spain controlled the game better. It sounds boring. I'm not trying to start a fight. Hot take, banging on trash cans to steal signs is cheating. Well, every team in the major league has come out to say, we were all doing it. Baseball is all about stealing signs. It's part of Little League baseball. Like if you go out to the Little League field, those parents and those coaches are watching the other signs and they're trying to steal the signs. And if you know the signs and you steal them and then you communicate to your team what's coming, that's baseball. Now, here's the thing. The Astros were using digital technology to help steal signs. And it's even come out since then. Multiple teams, almost every team was doing what they were doing. The Major League Baseball sent out a letter to every team saying, everybody's got to stop doing this. If you don't stop doing this, you're going to get in trouble. No one stopped, and Houston was punished. And the Cinderella teams in Major League Baseball were not. The Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Yankees. All of these teams were doing it. And every player you talk to will say it's been going on for decades. It's been going on for decades. The Yankees were using light bulbs in center field to let their batters know what pitch was coming from the cameras that they could see the catcher's signs being put down. I mean, this is not new. Houston just happened to get caught after they were told, after everyone was told to stop doing it. So I'm not in disagreement saying that they didn't do something, that they did something wrong. Like, they obviously did something wrong. I think that the sour part for everyone here in Houston is that we were the scapegoat. we were the team that Major League Baseball decided to make an example of, even though they knew and have hid evidence that it was very widespread and very actively happening all on every team, every single club. So while you know, it doesn't invalidate anything. Cheating in baseball, they go hand in hand. I don't even know if you can call it cheating to steal signs. They're literally giving the signs from the third base coach or from the dugout. Whether, you know, they're touching their hat, their nose, their face, their shoulders. The catcher stands up and gives signs. It's part of baseball. Like you're watching them do that. If you can interpret what they're saying, that's not cheating. Like there's no rule to say that you can't stare at the other manager while he's giving signs. So if you have a code breaker that can break the code, more power to you. You just found a weakness. That guy gives terrible signs. You can now capitalize on that. 8 o'clock hour, we got a small bump up, but not enough to get into that hourly fair value gap and not enough to get up into our entry, sadly. So if this thing just falls off a cliff here, I'll be sorely disappointed. I've watched a few preseason games mainly to prepare for Fantasy League. Yeah, I'm doing some fantasy drafts this week with some buds for football. I usually do at least one league. I did 3 leagues one year. It was just too much. I'll probably do at least one straw man argument. It's not a straw man argument. What are you talking about? Not a straw man argument. It is common baseball knowledge. The sad thing about that team, that 2017 Astros team, is how good they were. They were the best offensive road team in the league that year in history, I think, maybe, or at least a top 5 offensive road team in the history of baseball. And there's no, they didn't need to do what they were doing to be good. They were a monster team that year. They were crushing people on the road without having that technology to see the signs. So they didn't need it. I guess that's the unfortunate thing for me with that 2017 club, is that they didn't need it. And they've gone on since then and stayed dominant for a long period now after that. For the last 6 years, they've been the best team in baseball. They've won a World Series. They've been to like 5 or 6 American League Championship Series in a row. They've been the team that everyone has to beat since 2017. So it wasn't about that. And it was unfortunate that came out that year, because they were the best team in baseball. Regardless, on the road, they were crushing people on the road that year. I think their average run differential on the road, I think they were averaging like 5 runs a game on the road. They were just a monster team that year in 2017. It's unfortunate it came out. I don't know the sport is similar to defending Manchester City from their cheating. I don't know. I don't know what Manchester did to cheat, but maybe it could be. Steph Curry is still a loyal dude, though. Steph is the one loyal dude. Steph and Clay have been the loyal basketball players that have stayed with Golden State from the beginning. But a lot of that's because Golden State has paid them the Supermax contracts, and they've been willing to go out and bring in other significant role players around them. And some other teams don't do that with their superstar players. A lot of these superstar players don't understand. At first, they were all about, I just want a Supermax contract. and then they'll get it. But what they don't understand is that their club has no money left or no willingness after that Supermax to go out and actually put good players around them. There's very few teams that have the willingness to dig deep into the pocketbook and just continue to stay with the salary cap and bring in the players that they need. So Tom Brady was pretty good with deflated balls. Dude, easy to beat the team to beat when you cheat. Yeah, I'm not saying that people don't hate us. I get it. Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback in football history. And there's no doubt about that. It doesn't matter whether he was using deflated balls or not. Every one of these sports athletes are looking for an edge. When you're competing at that high of a level, everyone is looking for that 0.01% edge that they can get over the next guy because they're all elite athletes. Where did we get up to here? We got up to, man, if we get swerved by 3 pips again today, I'm going to be so ticked off. Come on, yo. Don't do this to me. Maybe we can get an inducement here. This would be the best case scenario. We put in a swing high. People think we're ready to go lower, and then we get one more push up above to run that liquidity. It's kind of a perfect shadow trade setup, I think, if I understand his strategy. Pull back up into this order block here. Take out that swing. Actually touch that order block into that fair value gap. That's maybe that's what we can hope for. What's up, Trading Night? Welcome in. With respect to your baseball chat, I understand every individual word you're saying, but collectively it makes no sense to me. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. When we start talking about cultural sports, I get it. I feel the same way when people in here start talking about soccer, cricket. I would be completely lost. The gist of it is this. Whether you understand the sport or not, the gist of it is this. Teams were trying to get an advantage over the other team. And the way they were doing that was using video cameras that could see into the catcher. So the catcher sits behind the batter. The catcher is talking to the pitcher and telling him what pitch he wants him to throw next. A fastball, a curveball, a slider, whatever, right? And so he puts fingers down that the pitcher can see, but no one else is supposed to be able to see. And so all of these teams had cameras out in center field that could zoom in between the catcher's legs and see the signs he was putting down. And then they would have some kind of system wherein they could notify the batter, this is the pitch they just called. And then that batter would still have to execute. Like, even if you know the guy's going to throw a fastball, if the dude throws 99, the chances that you're still going to be able to hit that are extremely low. But you do have you've at least eliminated the other pitches that are about to come. So you can zero in on, at least I know it's a fastball. I can get my timing ready, and so there was an advantage. All of the teams were doing this. And then the Major League Baseball organization, the commissioner sends out this letter to every team saying, y'all have to stop doing this. You cannot use video surveillance. You cannot use digital technology to try to steal signs. So that's where it all came down from. That's the gist of it. The teams didn't stop doing it. They continued to do it. And then Houston was the scapegoat. Houston was the scapegoat. They didn't want to punish the Yankees. They didn't want to punish the Red Sox. They didn't want to punish the Mets. They didn't want to punish the Dodgers. They chose a mid-market team to make an example of them, even though they were all participating. I could care less if anyone cheats in soccer. How do you cheat in soccer? How do you cheat in soccer? Like, I'm trying to figure that out. Tripping, like, is that cheating? I mean, that's pretty obvious. I'm not sure. I need somebody to explain how you could cheat in soccer. What's up, Bakan? Good afternoon, buddy. Why doesn't the guy who throws not just decide how he's going to throw? So what they've done since then now, Michael, is now they have an intercom system. The pitcher, like, has a speaker that sits in the side of his hat right here, right above his ear. And it's a Bluetooth speaker. And the catcher has the catcher has a device. Let's say this notepad is the device. It's smaller than this, right? But it sits like on a piece of Velcro on his knee. So the catcher squats down behind, and he's got this little device now, and there's buttons on the device. And if he pushes button 1, then the speaker hears fastball outside, right? So he can push, the catcher can basically just talk to the pitcher now. There are no more signs. It's called PitchCom. And there's even some pitchers that now control, and the catcher has a speaker in his ear as well, a little headphone piece in his ear that he can hear to make sure he knows what he just told the pitcher to do. So there's no more signs. No one can steal that unless they can tap into Bluetooth technology. So, which I'm sure they probably can. But now that's how they communicate the pitches each time. So it's taken away that. They actually use technology to eliminate that specific aspect of sign stealing. But sign stealing is it's part of baseball. It literally is part of baseball. Stealing signs. And if you get your signs stolen, then do a better job of coming up with better signs. That's your job as the opposing team. No trades yesterday. Oh, poor little Houston Astros. Well, I'd rather be the Astros than the Kansas City Royals any day, brother. Man City does it by spending too much money. So do they not have... Does soccer not have salary caps? Like football here in the States has salary caps. The NBA has salary caps, which means the team can only spend a certain amount of money. And if you go above that, you have to pay a massive tax. It's called a luxury tax. If you go above the salary cap, you get hit with a massive tax on your team. Baseball does not have a salary cap, which is why the Yankees have always been favorites, because they'll have a $300 or $400 million annual budget for their team, versus like John's Kansas City Royals will have like a $30 million budget for their team. So the big market teams can spend a massive amount of money when there's no salary cap. I don't know. I guess soccer doesn't have a salary cap. Doesn't sound like. I don't know how long it's going to take. Shafa, what's up? Slowly coming out of that drawdown. Yeah, we're almost there. We're getting out of it. How's your accounts going? John, just you can cry yourself to sleep on your Super Bowl trophies with Patrick Mahomes. That's all you guys have. So take joy in your football dynasty that you've built there, because it's not going to happen with the Royals, buddy. You know this as well as I do. Shaf says, I'm sad I cannot join your stream these days. I guess your child won't sleep. He falls asleep early in the morning. I'm going crazy here. I'm sorry about that. Man, those young ages when the kids aren't sleeping good, it can throw off so much. So I feel for you, Shafa. Michael says, yeah, there are FIFA fair play rules for how much clubs can spend, but City has 115 charges against them apparently, but nothing is being done about it. Well, I mean, again, every professional sports team is going to always look for the edge to exploit. If there's a loophole they can exploit, if there's a rule they can exploit, if there's something they can exploit, I promise you they're going to do it. There are billions of dollars at stake. They're going to always be trying to find a way to either covertly break the rules or at least overtly exploit a loophole that people didn't think about. Shava says, yeah, received my funded details yesterday, made some profits, but greed took over and I left them overnight. Now I'm on $150. It's okay. I'm used to starting with damn drawdown. Drawdown, man, it's. I think we've started every challenge with drawdown before we've passed. I need to go back and look. It's been a long time since we've been in this phase. I'm ready to get out of this phase. It's going to be crazy. We'll probably get out of this phase pretty quick and then just move on after sitting in drawdown for 2 months. Michael says, yeah, the new Chelsea owner is exploiting the rules by giving longer contracts than what's normal, which somehow makes it okay to pay more salary or prices for players. I don't know. Yeah, man. All we can do as fans is vote with our feet. We either like the product and we show up and we pay the ticket prices, or we tune into the games and watch the advertising, or we don't, and they lose their viewers and they lose their fans, and then they have to change to adapt. Otherwise, we're just at the mercy of watching all these rich billionaires do whatever the hell they want. And we just kind of have to, we're just spectators. That's all we are. We just get to spectate. Shoff says, try again tomorrow. Just follow your rules. No trading after 2 losses. Don't break that rule. I was stupid, to be honest. Just close your trade and withdraw. That profited. It's on demand. What you waiting for? I mean, yeah, if it hit your profit target and you didn't close it, shame on you. Shame on you. Or at least get to break even. I only ever feel bad anymore if I break my rules. If I lose a trade that it's a good setup, I don't care. I don't care. If I lose a trade because I broke a rule, that's when I get fired up and pissed off. We might get left behind. I'm hoping we get an inducement here. So an inducement is when we continue to, it looks like we're going to make a new leg and then we run up one more time into buy side liquidity here, basically to produce another breaker. So what we're looking for is a chance to come back up into this order block, into this fair value gap. Maybe at the 8:30 or 9 o'clock hour, we engineer some liquidity, and then before 10:30 we can get a push up into buy side and then the fall off. The UJ trade for the chat pair still in play. Potentially could get a little run up there. US 30 pulling back up into, hasn't quite reached back up into this inverted daily fair value gap here, but it is showing signs of some bullish behavior. S&P also pulling back into the OTE. NAS pulling back into the OTE from this swing leg down. S&P as well. Be interesting to see how both of those pairs react now that they're back into premium levels of the last leg down. US 30 not given as an aggressive run back up. It's still very much in a discount area. While the other two have pushed up quite a bit. UJ tapping into its breaker, but again, not showing a lot of signs or energy to want to go higher. I would hate to see the thing fall off a cliff here. If it just, again, this level here, if it takes this level, I'm okay with it. If it takes that level, I don't want to see it take this level, and I would prefer it not to fill in this fair value gap completely. I would prefer we get a pullback. Maybe we run some of this sell side liquidity here, these relative equal lows. We run some of that, get a move up, induce and take out these lows. Anybody that's short from the high, they might have trailed down here. And so people that were in profit here have tightened their stops up. And so oftentimes on these kind of entries, you'll get a pullback back to that same entry level before it makes its final run. Oh boy. Trading Night says, since the morning I waited for GJ to retrace up in order to short it, but so far no chance. Yeah, I would still be bullish on GJ. It's still very much in a higher time frame uptrend. So I would be waiting for sell side liquidity grabs. And then that's just me. I'm not looking for a counter trend trade on GJ right now. A DTB, hey bro, how are you doing? I'm doing well, man. Hope you're doing good. Shafa, because my profits were going over the roof yesterday, I was like, wait, maybe you'll buy a 200K. That's the thing, man. Greed will kill you. Greed, fear, pride. They are man, when we let emotions make decisions, they turn into destructive trading moments. That dopamine hit, man, it's pretty aggressive. Shadow, gotta leave now. Can't continue anymore. Poor electricity. Oh, man, I'm sorry. Maybe we'll catch you in the Discord later, Shadow Trades. I really don't want to see this thing tank right here. Oh, I need to go look at Twitter. I did not. They have not responded to my notification. Oh, so here's kind of what I was hoping. I'd like to see this play out. I just mentioned this, where we get a run of these relative equal lows, tap into some sell side liquidity, and there's buy orders here. There are limit orders, stop orders, all of that right here. I'm hoping that we can tap into that, and that can shoot us back up above these highs, run this buy side liquidity, and get us tagged in. Coming into the 8:30 open here for the indices as well. See what kind of push we can get, if any. Just posted the gold trade on Discord. Rifen. Yeah. Shafa, I miss those streams though. What can I do? I have someone begging for my attention. You got to be a mom. That's your first job. Parenting is role number one. Trading's not going anywhere. It'll still be there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Could you look at AU? I can look at AU. We're still inside last week's candle. We did displace through. We've had an aggressive move down on the weekly. Daily is due for a little bit of a pullback. You could potentially look at that breaker there. We are tapping into it right there. There's no really nice fair value gaps in there to target. You're reaching up into some buy-side liquidity there. Reaching back up into this order block. It respected that order block here. It's consolidated, coming back up into it, reaching into that old swing high. You're just inside this dealing range. It's kind of choppy here on AU. You're at the top of the range. You've grabbed some buy-side liquidity. If you're bullish on the dollar, then you would be, we are in a downtrend, so you are looking for sells here. At least I would be looking for sells on AU. You've taken out buy-side liquidity. You haven't yet got displacement lower yet. So until you get some displacement lower here on AU, I don't think there's a sell opportunity. You've grabbed a buy side here. You failed to displace below this low. You have now failed to make a new high. So if you can get displacement back down through this swing level here or this swing level here, then you could use either that or these two down close candles there as potential breakers if you're going to use the breaker setup. If you're not using the breaker setup, then you're going to want to, at least in my opinion, see a shift, a market structure shift, and then a fair value gap. This would be the 2022 YouTube ICT YouTube mentorship model, where you get a run of an old high and then you get displacement away with a fair value gap, and then you target an old fair value gap or an old swing level. But currently, I don't see anything on AU that fits my system. I haven't seen, there needs to be displacement lower here. Because we're in a downtrend, that's what I would want to see. 8:30 market open here. I would love to see the dollar get some weakness and just kind of give us an aggressive pullback here. GU runs sell side liquidity. I would love to see an aggressive pullback up into that, especially here at the 8:30. Not a huge, any kind of huge reaction here at the 8:30, but I would love to see the dollar pull back now. Oh. Shafa, you can imagine me managing my trade on my phone while trying to get... Oh, I cannot imagine. That's got to be super stressful. I can't imagine rocking a baby, feeding a baby, and holding my phone watching candles print. That's got to be super stressful, especially if I was in a trade. I have not reunited with gold yet. We are still in a cooling off period. Very much a cooling off period. She has not slid back into my DMs just yet. But she will. She always does. It's a toxic relationship. That's how it works. Now my ex-boyfriend is indices. I left them and not really coming back to them unless they message me something nice. Yeah, they will. Those toxic relationships always they get you at just the right time and they suck you back in. It's our brokenness. Some part of our souls that are addicted to those toxic relationships somehow. I don't understand it. I'm looking forward to my funded futures is launching sometime this week, I think. And I'm going to do a small challenge with them. I just want to check it out and see how it works. Be my first futures challenge. If I do, I might, we might pop in a little bit of that over here on the 10K to 2 million, at least just to, I won't do it solely, but I can use it some maybe. Hey buddy, what did you think of the EU trade before your session? Sorry if you already covered it. I think it is a beautiful setup. This setup right here was gorgeous, and we had people on the Discord take it. It was pointed out in the Discord. There were some people that grabbed that entry. That sniper entry off of this breaker right there was absolutely picture perfect. Easy 1 to 2 right there. What trading platform used in futures? It's not MT4, MT5. I'm not sure who they're using. I'm not sure if they use AMP, then you can use TradingView because AMP is connected to TradingView. And I'm not sure who the other one is. I'm not sure if they're both connected to TradingView or not for my funded futures. They listed off the other one, but I don't remember who it was. But hopefully it's all executed here on TradingView, but I don't know. Do you think ICT concept's way cleaner on futures than on other things? No, I think it works everywhere. It's just an understanding of how price moves from liquidity to liquidity. That's really what ICT concepts are about. Is how does price, what is the draw on liquidity that is going to move price and act as a magnet to draw on it? And what are the ways in which it does that? So it doesn't really matter what asset class. I think it works across all the asset classes, quite frankly. You need to get some rest, Shafa. You need to get some rest. Well, boys and girls, it looks like we're going to get swerved. Looks like we're going to get swerved. That's unfortunate. It really is. That kind of sucks. I love seeing these beautiful setups. They get you so excited. You set your entry, you set your orders. It comes right back and just flirts with you. It just looks at you from behind the glass and then closes the curtains and you walk away. Hot and bothered. Go take a cold shower. Damn it, man. That's frustrating. And there's the fall off the cliff. Wah, wah. Dang it, dude. Crap. I hate that. I'm still going to keep that. I'm still going to keep this order on. But I don't feel great about it now. It kind of sucks. Being able to identify your bias, being able to identify your setup, being able to identify your entry, and not being able to capitalize on those moves, that's one of the probably hardest psychological things for you to get your head around is that you can be right about everything and still not make money. You can be right about exactly what you see. You can be right about your bias. You can be right about anticipating the move, and you can still not make money. And that can really do a number on your psychology if you're not careful. How many pairs are you watching or trading? Let's see. We watch EU. We watch DU. Or DU. GU. We use DXY just as to help determine bias and draws on liquidity for dollar-related pairs. We watch GJ. The chat pair for the week is UJ that we're watching, and then we also watch US 30. And I'll look at S&P 500 and NAS just as correlations for US 30 trades. So we watch 4 to 5 pairs on a 15-minute time frame. It's very easy to cycle through and see. You have plenty of time to cycle through and find your setups on a 15-minute time frame. You can watch 4 to 5 pairs pretty easily. What's up, love? Good morning. Yeah. You're more beautiful today than when you were yesterday.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
It works every night. I don't know how it happens, but it works every night. Daz, is at this point, most traders go into the, if I did this or that, I would have caught this, close it down and move on, no harm done. Absolutely. I didn't miss anything. Again, if you don't get your entry, if you know exactly where you want your entry to be and you don't get it, there's no trade and there's nothing to be upset about. It's unfortunate when it comes that close to your entry and then moves to your TP, anticipated TP area. It's unfortunate. It does kind of suck, but is what it is. These setups happen all the time. What? No rain today, babe. Yeah, it's down to like 15% all day. It is only supposed to get up to like 92 here today. Windy and 92, so that's nice. Brad handouts is the play. Hey, I got to take my shots. I might use sweater today. I don't think it's quite sweater weather, babe. It's not boots and leggings day. In Texas, the first day where it's like below 80 degrees, all the ladies wear Uggs and leggings and sweaters with like toboggans.
That's not true.
It is true.
It's like 60.
No, it's not 60. It's well above 60 when they break out the cold weather gear here in Houston.
Well, we only have a few. Let's take advantage. Oh, look at this guy.
I heard Kirby barking. What's he barking at?
Look at this guy.
Yash, I'm not going to cancel that order just yet. There's still plenty of sell side liquidity under here, and we could get an inducement entry here. So an inducement entry is where it's basically grabbing some sell side liquidity here, and then it comes back up. People that are short from these areas will be moving their stops down. So now there's sell side liquidity here. This breaker is still valid. This fair value gap has not been tapped into. So it could come back up, run these stops above this swing high, get our entry, and then continue down to its final sell side liquidity areas, which are down here. So I had said earlier in the stream, if it comes down into here, I didn't want to see it come down into there, but I would leave the order on from this point. This is the sell side objective that I would be targeting down here, the swing low. And it still has left some meat on the bone in this fair value gap. So jeez, Kirby. Michael says, I don't trust it now. I canceled it. Fair enough. Fair enough. It was a beautiful setup. It really was a good setup. And this is where you can miss some entries when you trade the breaker. ICT even has, he'll even say you can just trade a touch of the breaker. That is one model to use, is just trading the touch of the breaker right there. And if you had done that, if you had traded just that touch, you could put your stop above the breaker or above the last candle before the breaker, and you're still going to get a decent entry on that. If you had just used the last candle above the breaker, used a touch of the breaker as your entry, you could still have gotten that 2-to-1 just on the touch of that breaker. You're gonna find, at least I find in my experience, the touch of the breaker, using a stop of the candle just above, it gets hit more often than just using the fair value gaps, the highest fair value gap with a deeper dig into the breaker. Those are your better, clean, sniper, low drawdown entries. But you can't. I mean, you're going to need to do your own research and see what works best for you. But that would have been a nice 1-to-2 if you just played the touch of the breaker. EU falling off hard here. It doesn't look like we're going to get any pullback. We're now running back up into this buy side pretty aggressively. So, man, looks like we got swerved. We might be able to get a play to the downside on US 30. It's run buy side liquidity on several of these. If dollar's going to continue to be strong, you would anticipate indices being weak. You get a run on liquidity. You've tapped into this internal draw on liquidity here in this fair value gap. buy side gets taken. If you can get some displacement down, you might be able to get a breaker set up there. Potentially, you're going to need to see some displacement below this level here, and then find a fair value gap inside of here. You might be able to do something like that. But you're going to need to see displacement here on US 30 before that would be an opportunity. That's just a potential, all potential. UJ touched the breaker, took off. GJ not really wanting to go any higher here. Dollar just ripping. What a sad, sad day, man. Hate getting swerved. Trading night, I don't really have much information. I think Markets is a great broker. They're a very well respected, regulated broker in the industry. I know a lot of people love Think Markets. I have no experience with them, so I can't really give you much more information other than that. It's just another way that Bespoke is showing their willingness to continue to improve trading conditions and give multiple options for traders to consider. So I'm a fan. Yeah, I want those discount entries too, Michael. That's why I put my entries where I do. I want to get in with as minimal drawdown as possible and a stop in a very safe place. Maybe your other strategies are better on summer markets. Potentially. The summer's been slow. July and August have been very slow across the board. So, and I'm not the only one that's experienced that. I think that's a pretty common experience. I remember some old ICT videos where he even says, don't trade in August. Like, there's no reason to trade in August at all. Every year you're going to experience chop and sideways consolidation. There's just not a lot of energy in August for you should be considering actively trading. So John, but Beth yeah, I mean, he also he says a lot of stuff that you shouldn't do that he just goes and does anyway too. So you kind of always got to take some of the things he says with a grain of salt, because he will literally tell you don't do this, and then he'll show a video of him doing that same thing later that day. I'm going to stay on for about 10 more minutes, y'all. And then there's not much more to cover here today. It's just sitting and watching and waiting. There's really not much more to cover here. We had a beautiful setup right as we started the stream. We followed all our rules. I'll wait and see if we get a push at the top of the hour here, or how this hourly candle closes. Maybe in the next 15 minutes or so, 14 minutes, we can get a little bit of a pullback here. But I'm anticipating this trade probably getting canceled, since we have moved down the way we have so aggressively. 2.5 pips away from our entry. August hasn't been too bad for me, says Michael. For me, got almost 4R locked in. I'm at break even. It's not been a horrible month. -6 in June and break even for August. And we still have about a week and a half left to go. We could easily be green for the month. One winning trade would have a screen for the month for sure. I'm ready for the September, October, November trends to kick in. Trader Mike is now an official affiliate of Bespoke Funding as well. Welcome to the team, Trader Mike. That's a big get for Bespoke right there. I like Trader Mike. He just announced his partnership this morning with them. He's implied he's a formal censure breaker. He's implied a lot of stuff. He has implied a lot of stuff. I'm just guessing, he's made more money from his mentorship and now YouTube revenue than he has from trading. I'm not saying he can't trade. I do think he can trade. I think he's one of the best traders in the world. Absolutely. But I bet he's made most of his money from teaching and just monetization of his social media channels. I bet that's where the majority of his money has come from that. I bet he has made a lot of money trading. Absolutely. I bet he has. But I bet he's made more from monetizing his online presence. I'd love to see him do the Robbins Cup. I know he says he's going to do the Robbins Cup when all of his arch nemesis decide to sign up as well. I'm like, well, you don't need to do that. You can sign up for the Robbins Cup anytime and prove your worth. Go set the bar and show them, here's my Robbins Cup. This is what I did. Go beat it. See if they can. Yeah, that's the ticket. Oh, man. That's quite the throwback, John. His Twitter space said he made more money on mentorship. I didn't hear that Twitter space, but I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do simple math. And everyone knows how many people were in his mentorship and what his monthly membership fee was. That dude was killing it. Absolutely killing it on charging people for his private teaching. I don't think we're going to get back up there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think we're going to get back up there, especially now. So it's 9 o'clock. That means for our entry to get triggered before 10:30, we have to have a very quick aggressive, and there's no news to push us up that aggressively. So I am more inclined just to kill this trade. It's too much to ask the markets. One good trade a week, most time waiting. I mean, this was a great trade. This trading night week, this was a great trade. You don't have to take the entries that I'm taking. You don't have to take any of that. Like you can take these trades anywhere that you want. There are multiple ways to participate in this move. This is the way I have decided to participate, and I did not get my entry today, and that's fine. But I feel your pain. I've said that many times. The markets are broken. Somebody needs to fix the markets. They just need to do what I want them to do. I can't force my will on the markets. You can't force your will on the markets. You do have to be patient. You just have to wait. And if you get your entry, then be grateful. And if you don't, it's okay. We'll be back tomorrow. These setups form almost every day across multiple pairs. Dollar's just ripping, and it's about to tap into its buy-side liquidity, and with that will be the end of our opportunity to participate in this GU trade. So I'm going to go ahead and kill this. I'm going to kill those trades, and just, we got swerved. We got swerved and did not get our entry. Sucks. But it happens. It happens. Copy this out. There we go. Bespoke says, to my tweet, they responded and said, we're getting logins for demo check spreads. Commissions are $7 per lot on FX and gold. No commissions on any other products. So currently on 8cap, they have raw spreads and $4 commissions. And with Think Markets, I don't know what their spreads are going to be, but I think they're going to be pretty low, but their commissions are $7 a lot. So a little bit of a higher commission with Think Markets. So, that's not great. It's not great to see that higher commission on there, but some people will rather have the higher commission and a more respected broker, I guess is the way to say that, work with them than 8cap, which a lot of people are frustrated with 8cap about some stuff. So I'm not, but it is what it is. US 30 might give us an entry here. We do have a break of structure here. We are getting a little push down. You are getting some, oops. You do have this fair value gap inside that breaker here on US 30. We've run buy side liquidity. We've tapped into this for value gap. We had a quick move up. We've had displacement down. I mean, it does look pretty good actually on US 30 here.
What is this bullshit about Biden saying you're gonna have to wear masks again?
I don't know. There's some stirring that they're gearing up for a new mask mandate for the fall and trying to people were showing pictures of all the Target parking lots getting ready to have only curbside pickup again.
It's not happening.
No, I don't think anyone will participate. I can't imagine
You joke.
society being like, yeah, no, dog, we're good.
It worked so well the first time. Why not?
Yeah. They might be able to get a better deal. You never know. I don't know if that's a Think Markets like prerequisite. That's just what Think Markets is, or if that was something that Bespoke can negotiate. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not going to call it straight. I'm going to watch this just as a data point today, but I'm going to be done for the day, guys. We did what we were looking to do. We just couldn't capitalize on that entry there, unfortunately. UJ or GU. US 30 might end up being a decent play, but I'm going to just watch that. If you want to take that, that's up to you guys. That is a nice little breaker setup there, though. But I'm going to pass and be done for the rest of the day. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll be back again tomorrow, Wednesday, 7 a.m. New York time. We'll be doing another giveaway this Friday, so stay tuned for information on that. But for the rest of your day, wherever you're at, I hope you guys stay safe, happy hunting, and we'll catch y'all on tomorrow's stream. We'll be over in Discord as well, so feel free to join that Discord channel, and we'll be talking and chatting it up over there as well. So we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Adios.